Yo, what is up, Splatoon fans? This is the Splatoon Show, episode number 2. I am Francis over here from PlayerEssence.com, bringing you another episode in this great new series that we do have on all things Splatoon. And there was a ton of new information, so of course, what better time to have a Splatoon show? So Nintendo invited a bunch of YouTube personalities and big major gaming media to an event up in Seattle, Washington, where they were actually playing the game for a long time, 5 hours, at least that's what Andre Seegers from GameXplain said. So they got to play the game, the single player, the multiplayer, new modes, new information on the game. There was just a ton of detail. IGN and GameSpot actually had 2 previews, and Nintendo Everything kind of put everything together. So what I was going to do is I was going to run down all the details, all the new stuff that we learned. I was going to give my impressions of some of the new stuff that we found out about, and just go ahead and wrap up the show with just new footage collected from around the internet based on various previews and stuff like that, and it'll all be credited and links to each of these people's channels where I got the footage from below, so you can go and subscribe and you can watch their content and support these people where I get the footage from. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it. So, as previously mentioned, players can customize squidlings and use ink as a weapon. You can toss it on your rivals or mark your territory in 8-player multiplayer battles. Swim in ink to travel faster and refill your spray for more colors. So that's how you refill your gun, is making sure that you dive into the ink. Use currency obtained in multiplayer to unlock more weapon sets and special gear. You have the Splat Roller, which is a really cool new weapon. It's a roller brush that lays down a soothing coat of friendly ink and can flick out a deadly spray to kill your enemies. There's a .52 gal featured grenade launcher-like design that sprays out heavy ink blots at lower rate of fire than some of the other weapons, with much higher damage rates. Inkzooka and a killer whale are powerful special weapons. The weapons you unlock come in 3-piece sets. There is one primary, a grenade type, and a special weapon. You switch over to the Uzi-like Splattershot Jr. You're also switching over to Splatter Bombs as a sub-weapon and a shield as your special. So there's no mixing and matching in different sets. They all come in 3-part sets and cannot be mixed and matched. The single-player design is a similar setup to a stage in Mario Galaxy. Each stage strings together floating islands that focus on building specific skills. Each stage has a squid launching sequence. The story follows Captain Cuttlefish, an odd-looking war hero who wants you to collect and recover the stolen Zapfish from the dastardly Octarians. Learn about the fundamentals of shooting, swimming, jumping, speeding through ink tubes, or even using vials of gushing color in combat in the first few levels. So the single player kind of serves as your tutorial to learn the more advanced moves and techniques in Splatoon. Fight grunt-like Octotroopers, squarish Octostamps, and speedy Octolings. Each one has a distinct method of fighting. Splat zones are one of the objective games you'll find under Splatoon's ranked battles. This has players capturing and holding a single zone until a 100-point timer runs down to 0. So this is multiplayer that we're talking about here. Teams need to work together to press and hold highlighted zones and keep out rivals. Ranked battles won't unlock until a portion of the player base reaches level 10. Ranked matches separate the player pool by specific letter ranks and range from top tier A+ to C-. A ranked player won't play against a C ranked player. Ranks are independent of the player leveling system, which unlocks new equipment sets. Rather than strategize via direct communication, Nintendo suggests that players use the bird's eye view of the map that's displayed on the gamepad to locate their teammates. Fighting to kill in single player, which is different from multiplayer. Single player has sponge platforms that grow when hit with ink. So basically that just kind of ran down all the different previews and stuff that we have. I do want to clarify a couple things that they said in there. So the multiplayer, this is how the ranked matches work. Until a certain number of players get familiar with the game, till they reach level 10, Nintendo won't unlock the ranked battles mode. So Nintendo will be looking at the data, they'll be looking at how many players are at a certain level, which would be 10 in this case. And once that is set for a good pool of players, they will have this mode, the ranked battles, unlocked. The next thing that I want to run down is the voice chat or the communication, or the lack thereof. But they've actually confirmed that there won't be any voice communication for you to communicate with your teammates. But you will be able to use the gamepad to directly transport to your teammate when they need help. You'll be able to see what weapons they have, if they're getting shot at, what area they're covering. All that stuff like that will be on the gamepad, which some of it was on display at E3 when I went there. I felt like I didn't feel the need to say, hey, we have to go over here, because when somebody was getting shot, I was like, okay, let me just transport over to them. So I think it will work in random matches, but I think when you get to the higher tiers, it might be an issue for some people, but a lot of people are just going to use workarounds anyway, especially if they're going to be playing in squads. So they're probably going to be using Skype or Google+. It sucks that it's not in there for the people who don't feel like doing it or want an easier way. Hopefully Nintendo adds an update later in the future, or hopefully they reconsider and they put it in the game. But right now it's looking like it's not going to be in there. So that's that. We're going to go ahead and move on to some of my own personal opinions on this game. And from what I've seen from the footage, the single player, we'll talk about that first. That looks phenomenal. The single player is shaped up to be really cool. I do like the designs, how they kind of took some stuff from Mario Galaxy and how you're just beaming from one place to another. That was one of my favorite things in Mario Galaxy. It just had a nice feel to it when you blasted off onto another planet and like you stomp down, and there's a nice thud of Mario when he hits the ground. So I think having that in Splatoon is really cool, and it's going to make the single player a lot more fun than I thought it would be just by looking at what they've showed off, because we got full single player levels shown off and it looked really fun. Another thing that I want to mention is the multiplayer with the ranked battles. I do think it's a little weird that they are holding it back to a certain player pool before you can access that. I think more should be like once you hit level 10, then it should just be unlocked and just be ready to go, or maybe even level 5, or maybe they say, hey, complete a portion of the single player so you got the mechanics down of the game, or a certain number of matches of unranked and you can do that to ranked. I don't feel that it should be delegated on what Nintendo says and when they feel like it, but hey, it is what it is. I'm going to be playing the game and leveling up, and hopefully they do have those modes unlocked, but it'll be good just to kind of test the waters a bit, make sure everybody gets in, gets leveled up, gets the different weapons and knows the game, and then once everybody's ready, man, it's going to be bam, it's going to be, everybody's going to be in there. So it's going to be pretty cool just to play the game ranked matches, just to be able to play the multiplayer, because what they showed off a lot of variety. The ink roller weapon was really cool, and it really kind of threw some people off when they were showing off that. He was just kind of rolling people over and really covering a lot of ground with it and then splatting the ink. So there's multiple uses for one weapon, and I like how it's not just about killing the enemy. I like that. I like the fact that it's, first of all, it's full of color. It looks gorgeous and beautiful and runs at a rock solid 60 frames per second. But then the fact that you can actually, you know, cover the ground and you can go into the ink, and that's how you refill your weapon. There's so many great ideas that's bursting from this, and they can really expand upon it. And that's why I want to see this game succeed, because the Splatoon 2 could be huge. Reggie Fils-Aimé even said that he wants Splatoon to do what, you know, Mario Kart did in the racing genre. He wants Splatoon to do in the third-person shooter genre. So that's big words, because Mario Kart innovated like highly, but I think Splatoon has the tools to do it. It's all about people just getting out there and kind of fighting off some of the negative publicity, and people actually getting the game in their hands, and the reviews to start rolling in, and people start saying, hey, this game is good no matter what little feature or what it's missing or what it's not. It might not have everything, but there's a lot in here to like, and there's a lot in here to play, and it's worth your money. So it's just, that's what it's really about, just people actually getting their hands on the game, reviews coming in, more previews, and kind of turning people's minds on what they think this game is about and how you play the game. A demo, maybe just a quick snippet of multiplayer for some people, maybe time demo, a certain period of release, getting the game in people's hands so they can see what it's about. I think that's probably something Nintendo should look into doing, because I think that would help the game a lot. But anyway, what do you guys think about all these new features that Splatoon has? What do you guys think about the multiplayer, the single player? Please let me know in the comments section below. Also, make sure you check out the description. There you'll find links over to all the articles and all the different places where the new footage is from. Make sure you go and subscribe to all these people. They're really cool. And also make sure you check out PlayerEssence.com for all your news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. We had tons of articles go up today, plenty on Splatoon, plenty on other things, so you want to check that out on PlayerEssence.com. Alright, so that basically wraps it up for this episode. My name is Francis, and we will see you guys for the next one. Peace.